Chapter 17 Biology Theory Video 7. Now we saw that a small population which was isolated, they had different alleles, resulting in a genetic drift. That resulted as a result of chance, not as a part of natural selection. Now if there is an isolated population of species, they might not even have the alleles that is common in the main group. Now, for example, if there is a larger population of a certain species and they have a certain common allele. Now there are some lizards who have different colors varying from brown to green. Now if the animals or the lizards having the green colored alleles, if the alleles for green color, if they get isolated in a certain area, they will, when they reproduce, they will have they will develop a population which is green in color and not a single brown lizard would be found. So this is another effect, and if they get isolated in a special area, then they will be the first generation to live there. And this process of recently isolated small population expressing only part of the gene pool is known as the founder effect. So the gene pool is the complete set of genetic information in a population. So if they start showing only part of that in an isolated area, that will be known as founder's effect. So this was studied recently by some scientists in the islands of Caribbean. Back in early 2000s, a hurricane destroyed most of the vegetation and also killed off all of the lizards that lived in 7 small islands. So what they did was they introduced new lizards. They selected 2 lizards from another large island, and introduced them to these islands. What happened was, in the large island you had large trees. So to hold on to these large trees, these lizards had longer arms and legs. So when these animals were introduced, when these lizards were introduced to the new islands, so they measured their they measured the lengths of their arms and legs, and they measured after some years, they measured how that has affected. Then they realized that subsequent generations had smaller arms and legs, in comparison to the earlier lizards or the earlier generation. That means, so they developed shorter legs and arms because they didn't have larger trees in these small islands, which the vegetation of those places have got destroyed. As a result, it was new trees and plants, so they didn't have large branches to hold on to. So as a result, their legs became shorter. However, when they compared 2 islands, for example, for the first island A, if they introduced lizards who had longer legs, and to island B, if they introduced shorter legs, now when you go to the 3rd, 4th generations, they saw that island A, they had comparatively longer legs than island B, because their ancestors had longer legs. So that means not only the environment affected them, but also the alleles that they originally brought in also affected their leg lengths. So that means not only not only their not only the alleles that they brought to the island, that is the original parents, what they brought, the founder effect also affected. At the same time, the selection pressure also resulted in them changing their leg length. Write down a note on this. Write down, in a small population, a new set of genes will be expressed different to the genetic information that is contained in the larger population. This effect is known as founder effect. Write down these two definitions. Gene pool, the complete range of DNA based sequences in all the organisms in a species or population. Then founder effect is the reduction in a gene pool compared with the main populations of a species, resulting from only 2 or 3 individuals, that is with only a selection of the alleles in the gene pool starting off a new population. Write down, when such a new population is developed, they will not only be affected by the selection pressure of their environment, but also by the set of alleles that they inherit from their original parents, that is the founder effect. I hope you understood. If you have any questions, please ask.